With that, we'll hear from our presidents, and as always, we'll start with our student body president, Adam Price.
Good morning, everyone. Just thinking last week, we really only have 2 full weeks of school left, so, I mean, honest, as a student, I'm really excited to see that the semester's really flown by. Last night, we participated in Operation Safe Walk. If you're not familiar with that, we just, the students and the UCA community walked around the campus and identified places that needed maybe more lighting or just maybe felt not as safe as they could be. So it was really exciting that the UCA Police Department, the physical plant, and the administration came out and just really wanted to be proactive in making the campus more safe. The student activity fee allocation process to all the RSOs is complete. There was $283,000 requested and allocated. We allocated $150,981.26. So it's really exciting to be able to fund the organization's events that they want to have next semester, and giving them the opportunity to coordinate all these big events on campus. I think I've said it every time, but the Speak Up applications are currently out right now. If you have an idea about a program that you want to see happen on campus, or maybe just a project that needs to happen, we're currently taking those ideas up, and we have $50,000 to spend on the best ones and the ones that are most tangible to the students. And those applications will be due January 17th, so we're really excited about that as well. Then lastly, we are currently planning on a day at the Capitol in Little Rock on February 18th, and one of the big things we want to talk about is higher education funding and then the lottery scholarship, and making sure that no further cuts are made to that. So we're coordinating a big group of students to go from UCA and then from other campuses around the state, and just kind of express the voice of the students, because sometimes we feel like that is lacking. And that will, like I said, currently tentatively be on February 18th. So that's it for me. Any questions? All right.
You were talking about students and stuff, right?
Right.
I had heard that they were thinking about, they were trying to get John Grady in here next year. Do you know anything about that?
I do not know anything about that. If an individual RSO is requesting that, it would go through our Vice President of Finance, but I can get you that information.
It's okay. I'm not that much invested.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, Arch. I'm Lindsay Osborne, the president of the Staff Senate, on campus, and we actually have quite a few things going on before the end of this semester, so I'd like to tell you guys about that and remind you of some things that we've been sending out email-wise. First thing is our annual Winter Feast is coming up. Tickets are on sale, but they are going fast, so make sure that you get one. There's various locations around campus. They're $5 for each faculty or staff member, and that money goes to help fund our Angel Bear Tree program and help provide gifts for those angels that are unadopted for the program. At the feast, of course, there's always lots of surprises, lots of prizes to be given out, and our annual contest this year was announced earlier this week with a video contest. So in that contest, it's a 90 to 120 second video that we're asking you to cover the topic of how different cultures and societies celebrate winter holidays. So once we get all those videos in, we're going to upload them onto OrgSync, and every faculty and staff member will have the opportunity to view them and to vote for your favorite video, which will be shown at the Winter Feast, and lots of excitement leading up to that competition. And we also like to thank President Courtway and Aramark for their help and donations for the Winter Feast and that luncheon. With the Angel Bear Tree program, the applications are in and that's finished. We are actually having the trees put up today and on Monday. So if you're interested in adopting an angel, or any student groups that you may work with, or your department's interested in adopting angels, those will be out Monday and today as well. So the deadline for adopting angels is December 9th. We have a couple other things coming up with deadlines. Employee of the Quarter, that's out right now for October through December, and those applications are available through December 31st. So if you have any outstanding colleagues that are doing wonderful things, please recognize them for their duties on campus. And football volunteers, we have our last official home game next Saturday. So please make sure we have some spots available if you'd like to volunteer for football game. Do that, and lots of basketball games actually coming up for the rest of the year as well. So if you go onto our Staff Senate website and look at the Volunteers Opportunities page, that's where you'll find that information about signing up for those games. And another thing that's really exciting, our Professional Development Committee, they have changed the way that we do our applications for professional development. So it's now a quartered process. So you can make sure that you're getting information you actually need to apply for the conference you may be interested in attending, or other things that you can get funding for. So if you're interested as a staff member, professional development funding applications are out right now. And they're actually due on Monday for any professional development opportunities covered from the first quarter of next year. So January through March 31st of the 2014 year. So please apply. And that is all I have. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Staff Senate.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Thanks.
Good morning, Charles Watson from the Faculty Senate. When I hear Lindsay reporting and Adam reporting, it's almost overwhelming, the amount of things and the different ideas and so forth that come out of these groups. I have to say the Faculty Senate is kind of business as usual. We're arguing about tenure and things like that. But I will say that we did have a session yesterday, an abbreviated session, but Dr. Gillis met with the staff, Faculty Senate, and we talked about the requirements for the professional development, the extended programs, not only for the faculty, but for staff as well. And I think the interesting and the important thing that came out of that was that we want to assure the faculty that these are not things that are created by the university, by UCA, but things that are required of us for federal funding and by things at the national level. We encourage and want to encourage all faculty to participate in this and participate in the fullest so that we become among the top across the country in terms of the level of participation. The other thing that's going on is not necessarily just a Faculty Senate bill or an opportunity, but it has to do with the strategic budget process. Yesterday, different groups across campus, Faculty Senate, Staff Senate, administration, other groups, made proposals to the Budget Committee for new funds that would begin in the 2014 fiscal year. Those will be considered in the December meeting of Strategic Budget Committee. So if you have lobbying to do along those proposals, and you can see those proposals on the website. So encourage the representatives from your college to the Strategic Budget Committee to consider those proposals. That's all I have. Questions?
Thank you to the three reps and to Jeff for your comments. We had three anonymous questions submitted. I'll try to deal with those, and I'll make a few remarks, and then be happy to answer any questions. One, I don't know any particular order. One was, and I'll just read them as they've been submitted. Considering multiple students throughout UCA's history have passed away from brain aneurysms, UCA should build a statue/sculpture dedicated to brain aneurysm awareness. That's the first time I've ever heard that. I apologize. I don't know how many students we've had, but another sculpture, whatever, obviously would have to be considered by the Public Art Committee. It would obviously have to. There are a lot of other things that may compete with that. So that's a new one on me. So I'll probably pass it along and see what the recommendation would be, if any. We have to be very careful about sculptures and things on the campus and in the public spaces. Another one, a question is, has UCA canceled its plans to build a new Learning Commons building? I went back and looked at the master plan for the campus, and I believe the Learning Commons building was going to be on the corner of Bruce and Donaghy where the big parking lot is. That was on the master plan that was completed in 2011. I don't think it's been abandoned. It's just if you look at the master plan and the timeline for all those buildings, there were a whole lot of buildings that were scheduled to be built between 2011 and 2016. Obviously, we don't have the funds to do that, so the board has to sort of set priorities about what's going to happen next. And that dovetails in with what I'm going to say in just a minute, but I wouldn't say that it's been abandoned. I would think that due to limited funds for capital construction, a lot of things get pushed back. Not just that, there were a lot of things in that plan for 2011 through 2016 that were sort of on there but aren't going to be built, obviously, at least right now. The third and final submission says, what is UCA's plan to improve its admission standards? In my opinion, the current admission standards are too low and are hurting the school's academic prestige and retention rate. And to that, I would say much of it, I don't think it hurts our prestige. I think it does have an effect on retention. And the admissions people, Dr. Lucas, Dr. Runge, and everyone, and there's a committee that's looking at admission standards. And I would hope that by the fall of 15, we've strengthened them somewhat. I don't know how, because I don't know, I'm certainly not an expert on that, but I certainly believe that longer term, it has an effect on our retention and graduation rates, and we have to do it strategically, but I do believe that we need to take a look at that, and I mean, that committee is. So I'm very pleased that that's ongoing. And I think there'll be more to come. Obviously, for next fall, we've already got the view books out, we've got everything out there, and that's not fair to those families and students, and I'm not suggesting that it be done overnight or that it be draconian when it comes, because we are a public university and we need to make sure that students that want to come here have the ability to stay in school and graduate can come here. But I also believe that we need to take a serious look at what those standards are, and I think there'll be some good recommendations that come out of that. Did I get them all? Oh, okay, yeah. Just a few things. The safe walk last night that Adam alluded to, I think, was very productive. I think before we started, Arch Jones said that after conversations with Diane Newton, that over the last 4 years, about $250,000 in excess of that has been spent based on the recommendations that have come out of that safe walk each year. And we certainly saw some things last night that we think we can improve, and I think you'll see those improvements made in safety in areas in many parts of the campus. It's amazing when you walk at night how many lights you see that are either out or need adjusting, and particularly we had 2 street lights out on Bruce Street. I mean, it was like pitch black over there around the math and computer science building last night. So that was one thing. Another is the Higher Learning Commission focus visit team was here, and to everyone that participated in that, Dr. Runge, Dr. Glenn, everybody on the academic side, Dr. Reese and others, and Dr. Watson, Lindsay, Adam, all your constituency groups. I think that visit went very well. I was pleased. I think it's like I said yesterday to the Faculty Senate, I'm not sure that there's a perfect organization anywhere on earth. Whether it's from the Blue Ribbon Shoe Store downtown or Axiom or UCA or LSU or any place else. But I think given the task that we had before us, we did as well, Dean Hattelstad, as we could have possibly done. Now, I'm sure there may be a couple of bugs and all that, but given where we came from and what we did, I'm very, very proud of it. I will say that the board had a lunch with 2 of the 3 members, and 6 of the trustees were here on a Monday, and had lunch with the focus visit team, and that meeting went very, very well from all accounts that I've heard. And also one of the team members unsolicited brought up how impressed that person was with our trustees, so I feel very good about that. As we move ahead, the December board meeting is going to be one that we may not have ever seen before. you're going to see a good, thorough discussion and presentation of Lewis Science Center and the report of the architects and engineers that have been surveying and analyzing Lewis and what ought to happen down the road. It's not going to be for action by the board, but it is going to be a thorough discussion and start that process of what ought to happen, you know, how it should be phased in, what it's going to cost, how can we pay for it, those kinds of discussions. And I can assure you that the board is very energized and ready to start that conversation. The other thing that's going to happen that's very significant at that meeting is the mayor of Conway and the chief of staff and also the city engineer and the city planning director are going to be at the board meeting, and they're going to make a presentation and start a discussion with our trustees and with this campus on what Donaghy Avenue between Dave Ward Drive and College Avenue is going to be. Not what we're going to build on either side, but what Donaghy is going to be. That is a huge discussion for this city and for this campus. So that's getting ready to start. And there are a lot of questions, and there are a lot of things that have to be resolved as we move ahead. So that's going to take up, I would expect, a considerable portion of that meeting. There'll be some additional things we have to do on Greek Village, and that'll also be on the agenda. So all in all, I think that day is going to be. It may not be a lot of votes, but it's certainly laying the groundwork for some significant decisions as we move ahead in the spring of 2014. The final thing I want to point out, and Graham brought this up, Dr. Gillis brought this up right before I came up here. If you have an account where your payroll check goes into Simmons Bank, there may be a snafu. It's not on our end, as I understand it, but you may want to contact your bank. There's either some computer problem or something, and I don't want to get into it because I don't know enough about it to say that, other than I was apprised of it about 5 minutes ago. It is not on our end with the direct deposit, but there's some snafu on their end. So I'm sure Dr. Gillis and his staff will be trying to work with Simmons or whatever they have to do, but there's really nothing we can do on our end, right, Graham?
That's correct. It is on their end, and they're trying to fix it. It's been ongoing a couple of days this week. I'm kind of surprised they haven't contacted their customers, but they did tell us this morning they hope to have it fixed sometime today, but there was no guarantee. So what we're going to do is see if we can identify those people and have an email sent directly to those employees, and not send one out to the entire campus so everybody's calling their bank.
Yeah, we're trying to minimize that. I wanted to do it here. I'm not trying to. I don't want anybody to start running out of here and whatever. But I did want to alert you that if you had an account there, or you had any colleagues that do that there's a snafu, but it's not on our end as I understand it, which. That's good. Okay, I think that's it. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I will say this: we've moved these around. We had them at X period for a while, then we got complaints that others couldn't come, so we're moving them around. And this may not be the most convenient time, but this is one that was selected today. So, any questions before we break? Mr. Schott. Captain Bentley, you've got a smile on your face. Does someone want to say something? Well, I think we got about, 4 weeks from today is graduation or something. Adam, I know you're happy. Adam was very engaged last night. You did a great job walking around. We saw a lot of things, and it was good. We had a good turnout. I think of 51 people, right, Arch? 51 people participated, and it was good. So thank you for what you do. We'll just keep our fingers crossed that the HLC doesn't ruin our holiday. I don't believe they will. I believe that we did an excellent job. I'm telling you, excellent. So let's have a good weekend and get some rest, and we'll get going. Thank you very much.